Hey, what is up guys? I am back with another Protoss vs Zerg guide. Last week I showed you a cannon rush. This week I'll be showing you a macro build, so that's really nice. In particular, this is a build I've taken from Trap that he showed us in DreamHack Masters. It's a Blink Stalker into Colossus guide. It's a really fun build, so let's just jump right on in. I wish in this game I actually could have gotten a slightly stronger opponent, but when I was looking for opponents to play on the ladder and whatnot, and I was trying to find a game to do all this kind of stuff, I don't know, apparently the Zerg players just wanted to disappear. And I played like 10 Protoss vs Protoss in a row, and then another 5 Protoss vs Terrans, and 1 Protoss vs Zerg. So from the last couple of days, this is the only Protoss vs Zerg I've played, unfortunately. But it will do, it will show off the build quite nicely. It is, overall, just a Blink Stalker Sentry opening that ideally puts some pressure on a greedy Zerg player. And against an aggressive Zerg player, is quite strong defensively as well, because you have a lot of units. Then, it transitions into a Colossus push. Something that we've seen Trap do, Parting do. These players really like this playstyle, and I've been experimenting with it as well. So, first thing to note in this game, we're going to be opening with Stargate. So I'm doing the greediest possible thing I could be doing, and that's opening with gas first, no scout. So you go gas first, then you build your gateway, you don't scout at all. Now this will die to 12 pulls, okay? It's greedy. I have accepted that in this game, if my opponent was 12 pulling me, I would be dead. If you don't want to do this, you can still go gas first, just have 15 out of 16 probes on your mineral line, and send the probe that builds the gateway to go scout. It works just as well if you want to open Stargate. So yeah, that's really good. I think gas first is really nice. It helps time out much better with your Warpgate and Stargate. Yeah, so it's just a completely standard build order. 20 Nexus, 20 Core, 21 Gas, and then 22 Pylon. So we can speed up a tiny bit. All my probe is looking for at this point in the game is whether or not he has a hatchery in the natural. As you can see, the Zerglings are starting now as well, so this probe doesn't want to go in. If it goes in, it'll die. You want to keep this probe out on his side of the map though, checking to see if he takes a third base, if he sends Zerglings across at you, all that kind of stuff. Now when your core finishes, you're going to get an Adept and Chrono Boost it. You're going to Chrono Boost a probe as well. You will go Stargate and then Warpgate. Okay? Stargate and then Warpgate. I get a bit late this game, but it doesn't overly matter. And then our second unit out of the gateway will be a Stalker this game. Just with my probe here, I'm watching to see if he has 4 Zerglings. If he only has 2 following my probe, then I assume that he's sent the other 2 Zerglings across the map, and I will Chrono Boost my second gateway unit. And I might even leave this Adept at home as well. But otherwise, this probe, keep it alive, see if there's 4 Zerglings. It's actually really beneficial to do this. So in this game, I see that the 4 Zerglings are chasing my probe, so I don't Chrono Boost my Stalker, instead I Chrono Boost my probes. This probe just also checks for a third base and any sneaky Zerglings. If you guys ever die to those Zergling all-ins, they have to sneak the Zerglings around the map somehow. So that's what this probe is looking for at the moment. My Adept will be scouting the natural drone count, as well as seeing if he has a third base building. That's what this Adept is here for. And maybe, you know, if the opportunity arrives, you can shade it in and let it finish and kill a couple of drones. I like to be very conservative and not do that, especially when I see this many Zerglings. Yeah, I see the hatchery. I'm going to check the drone count again and see that it is macro play this game. There's plenty of drones. That's good. So behind this, we start our Oracle. We build a gateway and then a Pylon. The order of this doesn't matter. You can build Pylon first and then gateway. The trick is, whenever you start your first Stargate unit, build a Pylon. Because if you ever get supply blocked at 46 supply, this is where you're going wrong. You need to build a Pylon as soon as you start your first Warpgate unit. Stargate unit. And if you do this, you'll never ever get supply blocked ever again. So yeah, After this point, around 3:20, I start sending my Adept home because speed is about to finish, as we can see, so we don't want the Adept to die. Oh yeah, Oracle comes out. I didn't chrono boost this Oracle because I wanted to get gases down at 3:30. If you chrono boost it, you delay the gases, obviously, because you need to build the second Stargate unit earlier. I actually think with this build, though, that getting later gases is probably better. Even like 3 minutes 45 or 4-minute gases is fine as well. This is something that you guys can play around with. If you get early gases like this, you're going to be building more sentries. And if you get the later ones, you only have like 4 sentries. With this, you get like 6 sentries. That's the kind of difference it makes. Yeah, so first Oracle finishes, and we immediately start a second one, and I chrono boost this one. Make sure you get your Pylon here so you don't get supply blocked. Put guys in gases. There's a lot happening at this point in the game. So, don't worry about microing your Oracle if you can't, right? Make sure you're focusing on everything back at home, hitting all the timings, sending a probe out now to take a third base, and then micro the Oracle. Okay? Because with queens and whatnot, it's actually very hard to get stuff done with the Oracles, and in this game, I don't get anything with the initial one anyway. So yeah. I send the probe out to take the third base. I think in this game I'm very, very greedy and I take the third base straight away. Usually I'd warp in 2 more Adepts and then send it across and then take the third base. But this game I'm really, really greedy. But you have 2 Oracles out. So if he was to send Zerglings across the map, you would have appropriate units to defend against Zerglings. Anyway, behind this, I'm going to warp into Adepts now as well. The next warp-ins out of your gateways are sentries. It's sentry, 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 sentry in this case. If you went later gases, you'd only have 4 sentries. As you can see, I'm floating quite a bit of gas, but I'll spend that. That's no worries. That's no worries. Oracles are going to come in at this point and try and get a bit of damage done. Overall, it doesn't matter. We got some decent damage. Let's see, 4 kills. 4 drone kills there, pretty nice. Next, you add Twilight Council and Forge. Twilight Council and Forge. Make sure this is coming down by at least 5 minutes. Yeah, at least 5 minutes for this. And then I like going up to 20 probes on the natural. 20 probes on the natural, and then we add 4 gateways. So I'm going to add 2 gateways here. And I'm going to add another 2 gateways. While warping in more sentries. I think my Oracles went back in again, and yeah, they got 2 more kills, which is nice. But yeah, we go up to 6 gateways, and now the game plan here is we just start +1 attack, blink, we chrono boost as much as we can, these 2 upgrades. All of our chrono boost goes on this, and on probes as well. You keep building probes out of your 3 bases, and now we make a choice. Either we're going to put aggressive pressure on the Zerg player, and the way we decide that we want to do this is if we see a 4th base. So all my Oracles are doing in this game are checking to see if he has a 4th base. I'll also be sending out hallucinations to be checking for 4th bases as well. If he has a 4th base, we want to go attack. We want to, from this point, build a lot of Stalkers, build a Pylon on their side of the map as well to reinforce, and attack and try and pressure this 4th base. Hopefully getting a cancel. If not, if they have too many Ravagers, we just go home and we forced out units, right? So in this game, I see that he's not building a 4th base, so I don't attack. I just stay defensive. I do build a Pylon on his side of the map, just to show you in this game where you would sort of do it. So yeah, I end up building a Pylon up here. And this is the kind of place where you want to build it on this map, because usually the 4th base is here. So yeah, if you had a 4th base right now, I would be moving out. Because he doesn't, I'm scouting, seeing what tech he's going. Like, he must be doing something, right? Because he doesn't have a 4th base. I don't see many units, so I'm like, oh, this is a bit weird. Maybe it's Mutalisk or something like this. You just keep building units anyway, because he's probably attacking you, right? So you want units, units. And at 6 minutes 30, in this game I get it earlier, but by at least 6 minutes 30, you start your Robo facility. Now, And this is even if you're pushing out. If you're pushing out, you add the Robo facility as you're moving out, and you take the gases as well. So the transition in this game is to go Colossus. We build Stalkers consistently, and add 1 or 2 Colossus and hit another timing later in the game. This is irrespective of what the Zerg player is doing. But in this game, we see he's actually going to go for Nidus and Swarm Host. And we've done so much damage with the Oracles that we've really set this player behind. Because I see Swarm Host, I decide to push out, get aggressive. It's very good against Swarm Host. But otherwise, you could just be adding cannons in your bases, going up to 8 gateways, going up to double Robo if you want. There's actually 2 ways you can play this as a transition. Either, let's say in a normal macro game, and he's playing Zergling, Bane, Ravager, something like this. There's 2 ways you can play it, and Trap and Parting do both. They either go double Robo Colossus, or they just have one Colossus pumping out, one Robo pumping out Colossus, and add a Templar Archives, and get Charge, and add Archons. Honestly, I think this one is a bit stronger, but in this game against the Swarm Host, I decide to go for double Robo Colossus. Now, you might be wondering, this Robo is very late, right? We don't have an Observer to clear up creep. But this is actually the great benefit that came about from the Revelation buff, where they lowered the energy cost. So you can actually clear creep very, very effectively with Oracles now. And so it's very important to keep these Oracles alive for your push-outs with this build. Yeah, so I'm just trying to clear creep. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to be able to kill him or anything. Like, he's only on 3 bases, right? And actually, we force out, as we can see, a lot of units. Roaches, Ravagers. He didn't even build the Swarm Host because he was scared. This is why I decided to push out. Yeah. So, keep warping in Stalkers. I believe I add a Robo Bay and another Robo. And this is very good against Swarm Host. Colossus are actually very, very nice. I sort of get a bit caught out of position here. Force Fields, Recall. That is the game plan if you get caught out of position. Delay with Force Fields and just recall out of there. So I don't even do a good job with Force Fields. Kill a few units and then just recall. Oh, okay, just. Yeah. If you're stuck on 3 bases, don't be afraid to build a lot of shield batteries, a lot of cannons. Really just stay defensive. Because your army later against, a low-tech Zerg player will be better. So if we just fast forward to this game, I mean, this game is sort of, a bit interesting, a bit weird. We've done a lot of damage early on that I'm not too worried, honestly. Getting my Colossus. We've delayed the Swarm Host so much that we're just going to be able to go across the map at some point and kill him, honestly. So yeah, just stay defensive, stay nice and defensive. Use these shield batteries to your advantage, and get some Colossus out. Yeah, so this is what your army is going to look like in the mid-game, even in a normal macro game. It's going to be a lot of sentries. Oftentimes, when you're playing against Ravagers and Banelings, you want to have like 8, 10 sentries, something like this, just so you can have infinite force fields. In this game, because it's Swarm Host, I don't want to commit gas there. That's why I have less of them. But in a normal game, a lot more sentries. And when you get aggressive and you push through nice areas like this, let's say he has a hatchery here, you force field, force field, force field, a force field here, that kind of stuff is very, very powerful. So in this game, I think I just go for Colossus, and then add Warp Prism and some Observers, all this kind of stuff, and go for a push. Make sure you don't forget Extended Thermal Lance. Yeah, this game, we did a lot of good work, and my opponent isn't bad, but he's not like the GSL caliber that I showed last week. Yeah, so at this point, I'm reaching max supply. He's on Swarm Host. We just get aggressive. Aggressive link forwards on this army. And I'm actually just going to go across the map and kill him now. Even though there is a Nidus Worm here. By the way, did you guys know you can hear the direction which the Nidus worm is in. Yeah, I'll show you. If we listen really carefully, that's coming out of my right ear, right? So it's definitely not anywhere over here, obviously. Has to be over here somewhere. I'm not too bothered either way. But that's why I warp in Stalkers here, I think. I don't think I add these for my main army. Oh, maybe I do. I just go anyway because I'm so far ahead. But yeah, so I know there has to be a Nidus over here. Yeah, in this game I just blinked on top of his army, pushed forward. There's nothing he can really do now. Using oracles to clear creep, very, very effective strategy. And yeah, that's going to be this game, really. He's going to try and defend, but... almost took a bad fight here. Almost. Yeah, this is a fun style that I really enjoy. I think the banelings have been nerfed against Stalkers. Shield battery being better also makes this nicer. The Oracle change, while sometimes being a nerf in other builds, is actually very much a buff in this build. So that's why we see this more and more, and get even stronger possibly as time goes on, as the meta evolves. So yeah, I hope you guys have really enjoyed this build. Try it out on the ladder, let me know how it goes. Next week I'll have a Protoss vs Terran for you, and I'll also be doing a 1-gate expand in PvP Guide at some point. If there's anything else you'd like to see, let me know. Write about it in the comment section, all that kind of stuff. Apart from that, like, subscribe, stay up to date, and as usual, I'm streaming every day on Twitch. Okay guys, peace out, have a good one. I don't know why I always do this. Pretending to be the captain, I guess. Okay, peace out guys, bye bye bye.